Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to break down the military conflict that erupted between a US-Israeli coalition and Iran on February 28, 2026. It's moving incredibly fast, so we'll walk through what happened, the immediate fallout, and what it all means strategically.
Okay, so this whole thing just ignited with astonishing speed. This timeline really shows you those critical first 24 hours. It all kicked off with President Trump's authorization on February 27th, and then, less than a day later, boom, it escalates into a multi-front war, starting with a shocking assassination and followed by a massive counterattack from Iran.
So you might be wondering, how did a conflict of this scale just erupt so quickly? Well, the key was the initial military action. It was incredibly well coordinated. This wasn't a unilateral move. It was a deeply synchronized effort right from the very beginning.
And this slide really highlights that joint effort. You had the United States leading with Operation Epic Fury, while Israel's part was called Operation Roaring Lion. So two different code names, but they were for one single, synchronized wave of attacks. That first wave of strikes was widespread, hitting several major Iranian cities. The focus, according to US and Israeli intelligence, was on what they saw as critical infrastructure. You know, military and government sites in Tehran, Isfahan, and other key areas. But among all these targets, one was singled out for a very specific reason.
And this was it. The strikes took out the highest figure in Iran's entire political and religious hierarchy. The attack on Ali Khamenei's compound was a successful decapitation strike, a strategic move designed to cause maximum chaos and instability right from the start.
All right, let's pivot to Iran's response, because this is how a targeted strike snowballs into a full-blown regional conflict. And believe me, Iran's reaction was anything but quiet.
Iran hit back, and they hit back hard. Their counteroffensive was officially named Operation True Promise Ivy, and this was no token gesture. We're talking a massive, large-scale operation with hundreds of drones and ballistic missiles launched, signaling that Iran was absolutely ready for a major escalation. And just look at how widespread their retaliation was. The strikes didn't just target Israel. They hit US allies and military assets all across the Middle East, from Qatar and Bahrain all the way to Saudi Arabia and even a British base in Cyprus. This was Iran sending a very clear message about its reach and its intention to make the entire coalition feel the pain. Now let's zoom in on the specific impact on Kuwait, which is a key US ally. The attacks went beyond just military targets. They hit the international airport, leading to civilian casualties, and even struck the US embassy. These numbers really underscore the serious blow to both the country's security and its civilian infrastructure.
It was a very similar story in the United Arab Emirates. Major economic hubs like Dubai and Abu Dhabi were hit, with damage reported at the Dubai airport and several hotels. This just reinforces the idea that Iran's strategy was to hit its adversaries where it really hurts, not just their military, but their economic centers as well.
And this strategy of economic disruption didn't stop there. It quickly spilled over into the global economy, all centered on one of the most critical maritime choke points in the entire world. As part of its retaliation, Iran shut down the Strait of Hormuz. Now, this is a huge deal for global trade. About a fifth of the world's oil supply passes through this narrow channel, so closing it had an immediate and severe impact on global energy markets.
And here's the immediate effect, plain as day. Look at that spike. Oil prices shot past $100 a barrel, hitting 114. Those are the highest levels we've seen since the COVID-19 pandemic. A direct and painful economic consequence for the whole world.
The gravity of the situation was really summed up perfectly by Qatar's energy minister. He warned that a long conflict and a continued closure of the strait wouldn't just hurt the region, it could actually trigger a worldwide economic recession.
So, while the world was grappling with these economic shockwaves, a critical political transition was unfolding inside Iran, triggered directly by that assassination of the supreme leader.
This slide really breaks down the three-step process. So, after Ali Khamenei's death, a temporary three-person ruling council, a triumvirate, was set up to fill that power vacuum. That council then moved quickly to choose a successor, Mojtaba Khamenei, the son of the former leader.
And what's remarkable is that despite all the chaos from the attacks, this political transition was incredibly swift. The new leadership immediately secured pledges of allegiance from the president, the military, and the police, which signaled a rapid consolidation of power. It was a clear attempt to project stability and continuity, even while under attack.
Okay, So let's get to the current state of things and see how this is building into a wider and frankly, much more expensive geopolitical issue. Because those initial strikes were really just the beginning.
Just look at this number, $1 billion. According to a congressional official, that is the estimated daily cost of these military operations for the United States. That's a staggering figure, and it highlights the immense financial resources being poured into this conflict every single day.
And the conflict is definitely expanding. New fronts are opening up, Hezbollah has started fighting with Israel again, the US is moving a third aircraft carrier to the region. And look at this, NATO has been drawn in after intercepting an Iranian missile over Turkey. This isn't a localized fight anymore, it's escalating and pulling in more global powers, which seriously raises the risk of a much wider war.
All of this leaves us with a really critical question for the future. You see, the initial strike was designed to destabilize Iran's leadership, but it also created a new one. How this new leadership, forged in conflict, will choose to act on the world stage, that remains the defining uncertainty that's going to shape the Middle East for years to come.
This is a situation that's evolving by the hour. To stay updated on this and other global conflicts, make sure you subscribe to our Global Conflict Briefs channel for all our ongoing analysis. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.